Welcome to physics, everyone. I wanted to share a few tips about reading our announcement page so you gather all the great information that's available to you. So be sure to check out your announcement page toward the beginning and end of every week. This section over here will change weekly. It will always list what is due for the week we are in addition to some action steps that you can do in order to help manage your week. Additional reminders, if any are needed, will be down here. And of course, all of the contact information as well as the appointment scheduler and pacing guides are right here at the top of our announcement page. As we move through the course, these additional buttons will become handy. We do have DBA checklists to help you feel more comfortable with what we will talk about during our DBAs. We also have an equation sheet that you can save or print out and really use as a reference throughout the entire course. We'll be collecting the recordings from last year in cases where you may want to work ahead, so you have access to those. We also have a YouTube channel where I'll be loading in important videos for each week, and I'll be classifying them into playlists, so they should be easy to find that way. Our link to our live lesson room. We have live lessons on Mondays and Wednesdays at 11:30 a.m. And we also have help sessions on Fridays at 11:30 a.m. Also a time where you can get a DBA completed when that time comes around. In addition, be sure to scroll down the page. We have our live lesson schedule as well as kind of a pacing guide right here for you to use. So we will be, of course, starting in week 1, and it lists what you should be working on for the week, a template for the assignment that's due, and we really encourage you to use the templates. So you'll always want to come here before you start an assignment, as well as what to expect during our live lessons. So really going back to this row or this section every week would be a great thing to do. And in red here are some important items, especially in Module 1. There will be some lessons that you can skip over. And when I say skip, I mean that you don't even have to read that page at all. You can totally skip it over. Exempt means that you don't have to do that assignment. So for our week 101 is something you don't even have to look at and you do not have to turn in. We will be starting with 102 next week. And this week, the only thing that will be due is the S1 enrichment. And there's details within that file on what to do there. As we move through the course, there will be times where you can skip certain pages of a lesson, and other times where maybe you don't have to do the assignment, but we still will expect you to read the lesson. So you really want to pay close attention to those, and if you do have questions, definitely reach out to your teacher. That happens more so in Module 1 than in Module 2, as you can see. In addition, I did want to share that there is an honors assignment, one honors assignment in each module, and you'll see details about that popping up over here. Those will be due at the end of the module, right before you move on to the next module. So we'll have time to talk about that in more detail later. And also, one feature that you may or may not be aware of is that you can open up an additional sidebar menu here in Educator. So if you go over to your login over here and click on Account Preferences, there's a side navigation that you may or may not want. If I click on yes here and save changes, when the page reloads, I have the sidebar navigation here. So that's a tool you're welcome to use. You can also find the same things over here in this main menu button, but I find some students like having those right there, sometimes a little quicker to access. So lessons, of course, is where you'll be reading your lessons, similar to an online textbook. But again, you do not have to read anything in week 1. 101 is something we'll be skipping over. You'll turn in your assignments in the assessment link, and you can also view how you're doing in your cumulative gradebook. One other thing before I forget is that you'll want to be sure to check your email regularly. And you can do that too over here with the email button or up here at the top. So hopefully that helps and gets you off to a good start with navigating this announcement page. Like I said, always be sure to scroll down when you do need those resources, and using those templates is really important as well. Number 2, follow that pace chart. It's definitely important to be aware that a PACE chart is available to you and definitely print it out or at very least save it to your computer. So for physics, you can find your pacing guides right here. If you're in regular physics, you'll click that first link, and if you're in honors, the second link. I'm just going to go ahead and click the honors one here so you can see what the PACE chart looks like. Basically, an abbreviated list of what you should be working on every week. In addition to that, you'll see an educator, the percent complete that you're listed at, and that should match up pretty closely to what's listed here. When you finish that week's worth of work, go ahead and give yourself that check if you're printing this out and using it as kind of a running to-do list. Then you can also kind of make notes or reminders to yourself of something maybe you want to go back and look at, and really take advantage of that little notes column or reminders column there for yourself. You can put anything you'd like in that column. But if you print this out and have this with your physics notes, that's one way to go. Or if you're more digital and you want to keep everything kind of on your computer in folders, still be sure to revisit this list so you can ensure that you are staying on pace with the course. And if you do find you're slipping behind, definitely reach out to your teacher. We can be there to support you, and we are offering those help sessions on Fridays too. So that can be a good resource as well. Number three is about working in order. And it's really important in a class like physics to not skip around on your lessons. I know sometimes you may have a short window of time to work on a class and you want to maybe move to something that you can complete in one sitting. But skipping to perhaps a quiz or something shorter really is not the way to go. A lot of our ideas in physics build from one idea to the next, and working out of order can actually make things maybe a little bit more confusing. So, like I mentioned earlier, in the assessments column and also in the to-do list column, we're listing exactly what you want to work on for that particular week. So even if you were to say fall behind a little bit, we wouldn't want you to jump ahead. We want you to continue to progress in the order that we have listed here. And if there are times where we want you to skip out of order, it'll be very clear in the listing of lessons within this to-do list and also on the pacing guide. So we hope that is helpful to you. And if you do run into a situation where you do need to skip an assignment for one reason or another, definitely have that discussion with your teacher first. And number four is attending or watching live lesson recordings. So, especially if you're new to Florida Virtual School, you may not be familiar with this, but we do have classes regularly. The live lessons are not required in physics, but they are strongly encouraged. The way you can access them is through the live lesson link that you see up in your to-do list for the week or right here at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and it might even be a good idea to bookmark the link. That way you can go straight into your live lesson, and you might want to do that for every class and have those bookmarks easy access. When you do log into the session, you'll want to start with a parenthesis with the initial of your teacher. Either Miss Cloran would be a C, or Miss Shields, of course, would be an S. That way, when we are taking attendance, we know a little more quickly which students have which teacher, especially as we're getting to know everybody. And then you can go ahead and type in your last name and then your first name. And that's how we'd like you to log in so that we have that kind of routine built with every live lesson. And then, of course, click on that login. If you're new to Blackboard, you may have to run the system a little bit there and do some downloads. And if not, you'll just open that file. Updates, of course, you can choose to do later or right away. And momentarily, you should be able to get into the session. During our sessions, we spend a good amount of time working together to discuss the ideas that you're learning within the lessons. And there's also time to complete labs where you'll get to work in the class and also do activities to help you prepare for the assessment for that week. So as you can see here, we're logged into Blackboard. I don't have anything loaded as of right now, but when we have class, there'll be a welcome slide with maybe an activity to start with. And of course, our participant list will be here. You'll be able to chat with each other in this lower box. and at some point be able to use the microphone and even video if you choose to. So we look forward to seeing you in class. If there are cases where you can't make it to class, we will be recording too. But we really prefer to see you in class to get to know you and also have a chance to work together and understanding these ideas in physics. Lastly, number 5, it's really important to ask questions. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone, send a text, attend our help session. Ms. Shields and I are really here to help you. So anytime you run into a question, even if you think it's a little one, it is not a bother, and we really are looking forward to those questions. Of course, our contact information is here. You can call, email, text, and if maybe you're working on an assignment, you have something written out and you just need it looked over, some pointers, you can take a picture of what you're working on and text it to us. That seems to work really great in physics. And of course, on Fridays, we will be in the live lesson room nearly every Friday for help sessions. It's a chance for you to ask questions and be able to use the live lesson room to work together if we need to on something because we can both write on the screen in there. And it makes it really easy for us to be seeing that same thing. You can also set up a time where you maybe want to work on something together. So you're welcome to set up an appointment, but that really is never necessary when it comes to asking questions. It's perfectly fine to just pick up that phone and give us a call. And if you prefer to text first, that's great too. We really look forward to talking with you, and if we can help you in any way, we really are happy to do that. So don't be shy and ask those questions.